The NBA season is fully underway, so that means there are a lot of guys off to slow starts that just won't last, and there are a bunch of guys off to hot starts that just aren't sustainable. In this video, we're going to go over some prime buy low targets, as well as some prime sell high targets for your fantasy basketball league. Now, I know trading isn't everyone's thing, from getting ridiculous offers from league mates to being scared of getting fleeced, but if you can pull off a successful trade where you value someone more rest of season than another league manager, other league mate does, either because of shooting inefficiencies or usage concerns, it can set your squad up great the rest of the year on your road to a fantasy basketball championship. Remember though, value does have to go both ways. We're not going to be that guy who sends a bench player to a struggling superstar expecting a deal to get done. Don't be that guy. Every league has it. I'm sure you're thinking about that guy right now. I'll go over my process of how I approach a trade in my leagues later on. And even if you don't like trading, make sure you stick around for this video, see if you guys are in it, see if you guys are on the buy low or sell high, and to see what I think about the performance this year so far. Thanks to everyone always watching and supporting. I'm having a blast doing this YouTube thing. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Make sure to drop a like, hit that sub button if you aren't, hit that dislike button if you hate this video, and don't forget to shoot me a comment down below. Again, I'll try to reply to every single one every video, and if I don't, I'm just a straight up liar, I guess. Okay, the first guy on this list, kind of obvious, is Thompson from the Houston Rockets. Now, in reality, this is probably best suited of more of a kind of hold, because the managers that wanted Thompson, that were high on Thompson coming into the year, would have had to reach for them in the early second round, and they're not just going to so easily give up on him 2 weeks into the season. But for the leagues out there, yes, Thompson is most certainly a buy low if you can get him. And I think the main reason for that is because of the Fred VanVleet injury. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, isn't that the reason why he was poised for such a breakout? Well, yes, but it's also made him start at point guard. He's handling the point guard duty most of the nights here, so he's learning a new position. It's just not something that he's used to, and I think he just needs time to adjust to his new role going forward. Add in the new team dynamic with Durant, and I'm not surprised Thompson's off to a fairly slow start based on his standards. If we look at his game log, one of those games, the opening game, was against OKC, arguably the best defense in the league, and another game was against Brooklyn. That was an absolute blowout. So really 2 games out of his first games have not really given us any realistic data that we can use going forward. Thompson was also, going into tonight's game, was 0 from 9 from 3, which is just not going to happen going forward. He's going to shoot a lot better. He's going to make threes. His field goal percentage is also down 13% from last year, which won't last. The stock contributions, which really made him a league winner for a lot of teams last year, they're going to go back up. Some of that stuff can be lacking. It wasn't like he just fluked into all those stocks last year. It happened because of his insane athleticism and great defensive instincts, which neither of them have just randomly gone away this year. I am not panicked at all with Thompson, and I'd be trying to trade for him everywhere someone is actually selling. Next up, we have a guy that I see a ton of people panicking on, and that's Miles Turner from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Miles Turner, a lifelong Indiana guy, 10 years to be exact, is moved to a new city. He's playing with new teammates, playing with a new head coach, and he's playing alongside such a new ball-dominant player in Giannis. And I get it, it could be extremely frustrating, as you would have had to use a decently high pick to get Turner, and you need these guys, you want these guys to perform at the early part of their season to set your year out right. But even the best players can struggle when moving on to new teams, and I think that's just exactly what's happening here with Turner. And that's why I think he's the perfect buy low. Turner has been super consistent over his career, always shooting in the mid to high 30s from beyond the arc, so the current 22% mark will not last. He's always hovered around 50% from the floor, so he hasn't all of a sudden become a 30% shooter from the field. That will not last. The scoring will come as he gets more adjusted, and honestly, the thing that I would have been most worried about with Turner would have been his defensive contributions, playing in a new system, but he's blocked a minimum of 2 shots per game and pulling down his fair share of boards. I would 100% take advantage of your league mates worrying that he's changed on a new team alongside Giannis and try and buy low on Miles Turner right now. I'm looking to acquire him before he snaps back to reality on the offensive end. Next up, we have Shaedon Sharpe from the Portland Trailblazers, and the main concern criticism that your league mates might be having with Sharpe is his shooting efficiency. He has really struggled from the floor, limp dicking his way to a 30% mark, way down from his 2024 average at 45%. The turnovers haven't been helping either. Definitely not great for 9cat, but those are two things that I think are the reason I'm trying to buy low on him and why I think you should too. Now let me explain first before your panties all get in a bunch. First off, Sharpe is shooting 3 more field goal attempts per year than last year, with a season high of 24 attempts in one game this year already, really solidifying himself as the go-to option on a young Portland Trailblazers team. Now that really has hurt his efficiency. Now once those shots start to fall with more consistency like he's proven in the past, and like I think he will moving forward, Sharpe could really just absolutely start stuffing the stat sheet on a nightly basis. And it's not like his stroke has changed or anything. If you look at his free throw attempts, he's actually perfect, 16 for 16 from the line to start the year. So if anything, it looks like his mechanics have actually got better this year. And the next point, the turnovers, and you're probably like, why is averaging 4 turnovers a night a good thing? Well, it's just another factor showing how much more the ball's in his hands this year, how much more the offense is flowing through him. Now, this always wouldn't be a good thing, clearly, if it was someone out there making bonehead mistake after bonehead mistake, but I don't think that's the case with Sharpe, and Sharpe's usage rate has increased to 33.9% in the early going from 25.3% last year. Give Sharpe time, let him settle into this new go-to option role. The shots will start falling at a more consistent clip, and hopefully the turnovers will settle down too. Now I had a section in here for Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham, but I just looked at their stat lines from tonight, so I think that buy low window for both of them has pretty much closed shut. But if it is still open with either of your league mates, with Jalen Duren or Cade Cunningham, definitely go try and buy low on either of those guys. I think they're both poised for great years. I wouldn't worry about their slow starts at all. And last up, we have Dyson Daniels from the Atlanta Hawks. Now, to be honest, I am a little nervous, a little scared about Daniels' scoring output compared to last year, but that's not really why you went and got Daniels on draft night. You got him for his defensive contributions, and those are fine. Now, I definitely don't think we're going to see the same level of scoring and playmaking as last year's from Daniels, like I just said, especially with a healthy Jalen Johnson and added depth from Atlanta, but I don't think he's going to be as bad as he's been to start the year. There's just no way. I think realistically, it's going to fall somewhere in between those two outcomes. Daniels' usage rate has dropped from 18.2% last year to 12.8% this year. His minutes are down, but before we freak out here, game 1, he was in foul trouble immediately, so you can just scrap that book, throw that out of there. It doesn't count, so it has skewed his minutes a little bit. But yes, there are some concerning red flags here regarding Daniels' profile, but the rebounds and steals have stayed consistent. And like I said earlier, that was one of the main reasons you probably went out and got Daniels on draft night. I do believe his efficiency will improve. I wouldn't be surprised if his assist numbers do dip compared to last year, as I don't think his usage rate is going to be what it was, again, with a healthy Jalen Johnson, with the additions Atlanta did make in the offseason. But I refuse to believe that Daniels is going to average under 10 points per game. There's just no way. I don't believe his fantasy profile is on some Draymond Green scoring art. If I can get Daniels at any sort of discount and in need of defensive stats, I wouldn't think twice about it. Okay, now moving on to the sell high part of this video. And first up, we got Aaron Gordon. Now it's pretty self-explanatory here, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. If someone in your league thinks Aaron Gordon has took a massive offensive step forward in his age 30 season, you sell him. Now for people that don't have that in your league, my favorite thing would be to pair him in like a 2-for-1 deal as like a sweetener and get an upgrade on that one player. Gordon's rank looks high, season stats are high based off that insane 50-point game 1. Gordon will be useful this year, don't get me wrong, but if someone is betting on a massive improvement from him, I just wouldn't hesitate to let him go. Next up, we have Walker Kessler, and I know there'll be a ton of people that will refuse to trade Kessler, that there's no way that they're trading him. This isn't a knock on Kessler's skill whatsoever. It's just that he plays for the Utah Jazz, and they literally could pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. So that's why I kind of think it's the perfect time to sell high and capitalize on Kessler, because Utah has won a couple games to start the year. They've looked competitive, they've looked exciting, maybe clouding last year's memory of that absolute train wreck that they put fantasy managers through in the second half of the season, especially. Like if you still have Kessler on your roster in the second half and they go into ultra tank mode, you won't be able to recoup any value for him. I also don't think his start to the year is super realistic. His usage rate is up 5%. He's practically shooting 90% from the floor, which is crazy. He didn't miss a shot until his third game. Kessler's assists have also skyrocketed. I don't know how realistic that will be going forward. And he's shooting 75% from three right now, which obviously won't be close to his season-long average at the end of the year. Kessler also could be a trade candidate, so depending on the situation, it could hurt his value even if he moves on from the Utah Tankers. If someone in your league views him as like a top 6 to 8 center, I would have no issues trading him away and potentially saving yourself from a headache later on. The next sell high, we have the UCLA legend, Jaime Jaquez Jr. from the Miami Heat. Now he's shooting the ball at such a ridiculous clip right now, shooting 66% from the floor and 90% from the line, which just has no option but to regress. Hawkins is also coming off the bench, and Tyler Hero will be returning soon. Norman Powell had missed last game where he scored 28 points. Lots of things have went his way in the early going, and I'm a huge fan of the guy, but he's just not going to continue making 71% of his two-pointers. There's just no way. If someone views Hawkins as a legitimate breakout this year, I would take the chance for a player with a more secure role and sell high on his torrid start to the season. I think things will look a lot different when Tyler Hero returns. Next up, we'll keep going with Joel Embiid. Now, I don't even know if you can classify this as a sell high or it's more just like a sell right now before the bottom falls out, because if you watched him play, like actually watched him play, it looks like he's running around out there with no kneecaps. He's getting no vert. He looks so sluggish on defense, and I just have zero confidence on his body holding up throughout the year. He had a decent game last game statistically, but if you watch the game again, he looked terrible out there. His body looks like it's going to break at any moment. So if he can string together another 1-2 decent games, I would try and flip him immediately to someone who thinks they're getting the prime Joel Embiid from years past. I don't think that Embiid is coming back ever again. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe his knees need 6 or 7 games, to get warmed up. But from what I've seen, it looks bad. So yes, not really like a sell high, but it's just a sell him before you completely get destroyed later in the year. So this sell high might take a couple more decent games from Embiid to kind of cloud people's judgment, cloud people's conceptions about him, and get them thinking that they're getting MVP Joel Embiid in 2025. Okay, I think I'm going to double down on the Canadian kid. I don't want to do it, but I think I'm gonna, and that's RJ Barrett from the Toronto Raptors. Now, I know I had him as a bust in my do not draft video in the pre-draft process, but again, I just looking at his games, he's shooting 62% from the floor right now, which would be 20% higher than his career average. I just don't think there's any way that's going to hold. He played tonight and he had a rough shooting night. He's obviously going to regress. I don't think he's made that great of improvements to his jumper, to his stroke to have such a massive increase, but hey, I might be completely wrong and I'll take a double L for this. I do think once Ingram gets more involved in the offense, gets more familiar with his teammates, he's going to continue to soak up more uses, soak up more touches. And the same thing with Scotty Barnes too. I think he's going to continue making steps forward. That does bump RJ Barrett down on the pecking order. I don't think he's going to have crazy nights on the defensive end or crazy nights with counting stats to make up for his lack of scoring or lack of percentages if they do come back down to earth. He'll definitely be better as a points league type guy. For category leagues, I'm definitely selling high on his toward start, because I do think his shooting efficiency and scoring is going to come down. I hope I'm wrong, and again, I'll take a fat L. No worries about that since I'm doubling down on him, but we'll see. Okay, quickly, I also wanted to just do another little segment on someone I would not sell high on right now. I've seen it floated around on Twitter, on YouTube, and that's Austin Reeves. Now, I know obviously he's not going to be this insane because Luka and LeBron are out, but like I talked out in my breakout video and the best value selected in each round with Reeves is he is going to have these insane spike notes when Luka and or LeBron do sit out. But besides that, he's still going to be great, and I'd be only selling him if I got a first round player. And that's no joke. Okay, and now one that I would buy high would be Alex Sarr. Now, all that preseason talk about getting better looks seems real. I think he's legit a fantasy superstar just lurking in the shadows. It looks like he's really made improvements on attacking the rim, getting better looks. His finishing ability looks better. And if he has a few more games with this improved efficiency, I am 100% fully bought in, but at that point, he most likely won't be attainable. That's why I'm saying him buy now, because if he starts to take off, look out. Okay, and one that I'm not selling low on, or I even see some people like dropping him, is Jalen Suggs from the Orlando Magic. Now, give him time. He missed a lot of time in the offseason with injuries. He's working himself back in. I do think he's going to play a big role on the Orlando team. He's going to be their defensive anchor. He's going to soak up a ton of minutes when he's fully healthy, when he's fully up to speed. I would not worry about him. I'd let him get acclimated, let him get used to the offense with Desmond Bane, and I think he'll be very usable for 12-team leagues going forward. I was going to put a sell low in here, but I think that's just kind of dumb anytime I see it or see people talking about it, because like it's hard enough to trade to begin with. How are you ever going to do a trade when you're trading like a garbage player or somebody that you could be dropping? I've never understood it, so I'm not putting it in. All right, but I think that's it for this video. Look at me, man. 2 weeks in a row with 2 videos per week. Insane. Sorry if this video wasn't as good or if it seemed a little rushed. I was trying to pound it out for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, I'll reply to every single comment, every single video, hopefully. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best, and I'll see you this weekend with another waiver wire video. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. Be safe out there on Halloween. Hope you eat a ton of candy, and I'll see you guys real soon.